Hi, hello, everybody. This is Zach once again with INFJ Type 5 discussion videos. Today, this one is also off the cuff. I guarantee I will begin to plan further ahead with videos in the future as I slowly start to put more time and effort into these videos. However, it's important for me to push these out often so I can ensure that it becomes a practice in my life to create these videos for you guys. Today, I'm going to read a poem from the INFJ Type 5 subreddit, which is very it's almost inactive at this point in time. This is a really specific subset of a subset of personality theory when you're looking into INFJs and Type 5 specifically. However, this poem, I think, not only clearly defines the INFJ, but it gets into what creates the INFJ Type 5 specifically. It's called The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, and I'll read the whole thing. The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for the passing there, had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So, when you're breaking this down into its simplest, explain like I'm a 5-year-old style, you understand it as living life on your own terms, or not making decisions based upon the everyday grain and code of which typical decisions are based upon. So with that in mind, the INFJ Type 5, I would say, very much so lives by this. INFJs in themselves often tend to get caught up in their own idealistic pursuits. And there's little need for outside validation in these topics of interest. So when you have a topic of interest, or you have a pursuit of which your own fire and your own passionate drive is what is the catapult that is shooting you towards this each and every day, you can get spun up in that web so easily. And when that is combined with zero need for any sources of validation on the outside, it amplifies it. So INFJs in particular like to create their own answers. They like to search for their own answers and then share their answers with others after a period of time. And yeah, in a sense, the sharing is a search for validation. It feels good to be validated on your pursuits of knowledge, but it's not the reason for the pursuit. And even if no validation were to come from the sharing, there's no need. It doesn't necessarily hurt the INFJ. The INFJ did not do this, didn't do it for you. It did it for the collective, but it didn't really do it for you. If that makes sense, I hope that makes sense. Any search and any type of study that the INFJ does is not for you. It is for the collective. It's not necessarily for them, although in a sense, yeah, it is what they do. It is what they love. So in terms of a passionate desire, yeah, it is their passionate desire, which is for them, which in turn they hope can bring the collective a better understanding of each other. The teaching of empathy, I suppose you can say. So when combined with the type 5, you can have a utterly reclusive, endless search towards divergent topics. So the road not taken, personally in my life, and I think my story comes to play here, there was a lot of reflection to a point that I believe, I can't be sure, but I believe the level of reflection I have done in the work I've done on myself far exceeds that of peers my age, and it's not entirely self-inflicted. My own isolation led to a point of total introspection. It may have been the cause of my INFJ-ness. I do believe MBTI is somewhat in flux, so who knows if will be defined as this my entire life. However, currently, yeah. And this isolation was brought on by ideas outside the standard box, the standard way of thinking. I will get into it, but specific philosophies and things like that, that kind of led me to develop my own philosophy, which is something I will also get into. But it harnessed a search based upon my own moral code and my own philosophy, which, rather than me searching for answers to connect standard dots of everyday topics, I was searching for answers to connect a self-created topic. and a self-created idea. And this, I think, is where great ideas are born from. This is their this is their flashpoint. However, it does require a ultimate level of distance from the standard societal grab. Because yes, in a way, society will brainwash you from your standard, from the potential for fresh ideas. And it's not like a sinister style, you are, 1984, you are being controlled, you are being watched. There's no escape. You are, it's not like that, but in a sense, yeah, you have to practice. If you are onto something, which the type 5 thinker may often think they are onto something, you have to practice the road not taken. You have to practice the essence of this poem. You have to keep in mind every day that you choose against the grain, you have the option to further your idea that may help the grain itself. And I hope I didn't twist it around so far with that little diatribe, and I hope I came back to where I initially started from and helped you in your understanding if you are an INFJ type 5. But yeah, that is the road not taken, and that is what we are about. And it can be scary at times, and you may be alone at times, but as of right now, I think it's worth it. And I think any decision to further your knowledge is worth it on a grand scale of everything that ever was. You could imagine the pinnacle of what creates the ideas of someone who is type 5 plus INFJ. If you continue to further your search for knowledge, I'm thinking of people like Nietzsche, like Martin Luther King, and I think Nietzsche was a type 5, Martin Luther King INFJ, Gandhi, Hitler, but you could go that way too, but don't worry about that. There's tons more here that I could tell you, but the combination of these two things, even if you aren't able to vocalize it, a lot of my ideas I can't vocalize, I have to write them down. But I think it's worth it for us to stick to the road and understand that it may get lonely, but you'll find things that are worth it. Enjoy your day, guys.